What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the SOC University podcast. I'm your host, Adam Duty. Super excited today. We have Footprint Inc. in the building, a clothing brand. We have Renardo and Jay in the building too as well.
Yes.
So we're going to dive a little bit deep into their business. We're going to hear a little bit more about them. I'm going to be selfish and ask them some questions so I can learn how to do what they're doing too as well.
Right.
But I'm super excited to have you guys in the building.
To be
Yeah,
here, man.
we're definitely excited to be here.
Good.
Appreciate
The opportunity.
We've been talking about this. We tried to do it before, but I had a little issue, and we
It's
couldn't
fine.
get it done.
It's fine.
Listen, when you have kids, surprises happen.
Yes,
So,
Yeah. And he
Yes.
tells me that all the time.
for sure. So there's a lot of places that we can start, but let's start with. I'm big on like entrepreneurship, mental health, definitely things for like empowering men, stuff like that too as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I want to go back to the vision for the business and the clothing brand. Like, how did you guys come up with the name, and how did you start with that?
Footprint.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know. Like, I think that we were kind of toying, going back and forth with different ideas, and
Okay.
Yeah.
and that kind of stuck. I think, did I say that? Yeah, because I'm a good person with just like words. you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
I put him together.
so especially like if it has like a meaning behind it, stuff like that. So I think that we came up with that, and just because we wanted to make our footprint in this world.
Right.
We wanted to even talk about the footprint that we as a people have established here as
Right.
well. So I think footprint was just, when we heard it, it was like, oh, yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Yeah. It was one of those things that stuck. I think we bounced a few names off, and then we were just like, nah. And then we were like, Footprint. And then we were talking about legacy. So I think, this is around the time where, Kobe passed, and we were just talking about legacy and leaving your legacy, and what does that look like to you, and having something that your children see and they admire and be like, okay, my, dad or mom left a legacy. So I think that's what we were talking about in that time frame
Okay.
that led us to the name Footprint,
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's dope. So I know you were saying, Renardo said something about culture, like impacting the culture with the brand too as well.
Very true.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think that's big when he was explaining that. to me.
Because we were just thinking about like what in this day and time like reflects to our culture in a positive way, right? Every time you typically hear about our culture in general is something negative, rap or killing one another. Not to say that, but like you always hear a negative connotation or like a negative. What's the word I'm looking for? Just like a negative tone when you hear about,
Yeah, and and it doesn't even have to be negative at times, because when you think of people who are successful, a lot of times you equate them with, the music or sports, and I think that there's a lot more to our people, and
Yes.
to our culture than just that.
Right.
Yeah.
We've established a lot of fashion. We've established just a lot of different trends that go on that other people monetize, and
Very true.
profit off of.
Yeah.
So we just really wanted to focus on the things that build. Like if you knew that this was in your history, if you knew that this was in your past, then you would take pride in that.
Right.
And you would feel confident about that association, with that type of success. And so that's really what we wanted to highlight.
Wow.
And bring to the forefront, was just things that we're proud of, as a people,
Right.
Outside of those things. And now those things are, athletes, music, those
Right.
things definitely play a part into, you know, our success as a people overall, but it's not the only thing. And that's
Right.
and it
Right.
wasn't even the first thing, you know.
Right.
It wasn't some of the first things. So, you know, I think that just reminding people about our history is really important.
Really important.
Because they're taking it out of the schools.
Yes.
You know,
Very
they're making a point to take it out of the schools, you know,
Yeah.
and so our vision was really preserving our culture and our history, to even be taught through streetwear.
Right.
You know, to the point to where we even have QR codes on
Each
our
item.
gear in order to so that when people scan it,
Yeah.
they can see the story behind it.
Right.
You know, yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard anything or seen anything like that.
Yeah.
With
Right.
the QR codes and the story behind it. No, that's dope.
Because the goal is to really bridge the gap with the learning side of things.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
'Cause
Right.
if they're not going to teach it, we can teach each other.
Right.
We can just wear it. You scan it. All right,
Very
you
true.
learned about it.
Right.
And that preserves it for the future as
Right.
well.
Very true.
You know?
Did that the story and everything behind it that you guys just told, was that like the original thinking when you originally started, or that kind of came along?
I would say it came along.
Okay.
The QR code.
The
did.
QR code
Yeah.
did, but
Okay.
always each piece that from the when we first started, if people were following us, they knew our first piece was a piece that told a story.
Okay.
You know, each piece that we create tells its own story and has its history behind it. You know, because we have to highlight that. You know, if nobody wants to do it, then we're gonna create something with each drop we do, something that tells you a story. You know, I think when you think of certain pieces or certain collections, it tell a story, and that's what we want to do, especially with our clothing brand.
So what was the first piece?
So the first piece was our Black Wall Street. It was
Okay.
red and gold, and it just stood out, but it also had most of the founding fathers. So it had bank representatives from the Saint Lena, Saint Lena. I'm not saying that right. Saint Lena,
St. Penny's Bank.
St. Penny's Bank, St. Penny's Savings Bank, and then we also had the founding father who actually founded the Black Wall Street in Richmond, Virginia. So we just wanted to put all those people in memorable pieces. Same thing with the Magdalena Walker shirt, right?
Okay.
She was a slave. And then after that, she was the first African American woman to president a bank, So we just wanted to tell our story and, have influential people that look like us and put them in the forefront.
And really start off with something that brought together our whole vision of it, which is black people working together.
Yeah.
Right.
Black Wall Street is different communities where black people had, they had banks, they had just different businesses. They had barbershops, they had
Dentist office.
yeah, I mean, just anything that you needed in a community, there was a place that you could go where it was black owned, and so I think that even in some of the videos, it talks about how the black dollar turned over
Yes.
5 and 6 times within the same community. And when you
Right.
think about that, that's kind of cool.
Right.
Like it's cool for me to pay you for a service, and then for you to come back and give me my same dollar
Right,
back for
right.
another service. It's like that money is circulating within the community, and
Right.
and that's something that I feel like we have lost sight of.
Right.
As black people, we have wanted to be so individualized and
Right.
have my
Very
own
true.
this, I want to do my own that,
Right.
rather than coming together and understanding that there is strength in numbers. There's a whole community in numbers. There's there is safety in that community. There's profitability in that community, and so we want to create that community. Whereas I don't want to. It's funny because I love wearing the the brand that we have more so than I like wearing Nike now. You know, because it's like we're creating this. This is why give my money to Nike, you know, and wear that when it doesn't speak to my culture and it doesn't have a message associated with it.
Right.
And I'm making somebody else money, you know? So it's, let's create our own brand.
Right.
Let's get our own designers who look like us. You know, let's get our own manufacturers and people who, you know, are going to produce it. Like, and I feel more, I guess, fulfilled in even spending money, knowing that I'm doing it within the community. And I'm working with people that are going to produce good quality things, you know?
Very true.
Yeah, no, they look good. Like when I saw them and when you were showing me, when Renardo was showing me that shirt earlier, I was like, that looks really nice.
So shout out to TJ. Little drop. Yeah. But yeah, he's in Chicago. He printed everything just so we like it. But yeah.
Dope. It's dope. So with that, right, was there ever a time where you two were, I wouldn't say necessarily nervous or afraid that maybe you wouldn't get the support from the culture that you were looking to get with doing that? Because like you said, a lot of times there are people in our culture that say, oh, well, I got a clothing brand too. Like, why support them? Just support me instead.
Right, very true.
Did you ever think about that? Did that ever cross your mind? Were you ever worried about that at all?
No, because I think it's about who you have as a partner. Like, you know, like me and Renardo, we talk about everything and we explore everything. You know what I mean? Like if there were two people that ran a business that overthought everything, we would be the two people. But we're bouncing ideas off each other, you know, and making it make sense, you know, with everything that we do. And I think when you have the right team and the right person, you know, that you're doing stuff with, then you're going to succeed, you know. Because just like he wants me to succeed, it's the same thing for me. You know, I want that for him. So when we first started, and no, I just thought about like, what message can I give? You know, I think those were the most things that we thought about, and that was personable with each drop, from the Black Wall Street collection and adding more pieces to that. And then from the Black Love collection, Black Love drop that we did, you know, just celebrating Black love and, you know, having, you know, couples and what that means to our community, you know, for a husband and a wife, you know, was really strong, you know. So I think each collection we just thought about, of course, is different, you know, but what do we want to highlight, you know, and Black Love and Black Wall Street was those things that we wanted to do. You know?
I think for me, I thought about that stuff. Like other people have, you know, their brands. Why would they buy ours as opposed to, you know, theirs? Like they're so creative. Maybe we're not, you know. But you know, at the end of the day, comparison is some people say the thief of joy. I say the root of unhappiness. And I think that for me, and really for us, is making things that speak to us.
Right.
You know, and if it speaks to us, maybe it'll speak to other people. Maybe it won't. But like there's different audiences for different things, and you know, we had a time trying to figure out who our audience was going to be, you know, and who you know who we were going to target, and you know, at some point you just get overwhelmed with all that stuff. You're just like, let's just put the stuff out here, you know, and Jay is really so me and Jay, you know, Jay used to work with me whenever I ran my sales company, and he was always a hard worker, always good with sales. And I knew that there was something about him that was different from other people. And there's like, there have been a lot of different, there's been few people that have come into my business over the years where I felt something like pull at me towards them. And that happened with Jay. It's a couple other people, all of which are successful today. But, you know, with Jay, I knew that it was something that we were supposed to do together, you know, and it took a while to try to figure out what it was going to be. But, you know, we really had an affinity for sneakers.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And buying and reselling sneakers. And,
Yeah.
you know, then that kind of tailed off because I don't think that it was as sustainable as we wanted it to be, but then also it didn't bring what we wanted to the table.
Right.
You know, it was kind of taking somebody else's product and putting it out there and,
Right.
you know, trying to make money off of that. But this is more so for love,
Yes. It's a passion.
you know, rather than for money. Even though the money matters.
Yes.
And, you know, and the money
does.
definitely matters, you know, and especially when you're putting into
Yeah.
something and you're not really seeing the return that you want to, it gets kind of discouraging at times, you know. But I think that it's cool, you know, even in the Bible, it talks about where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there am I in the midst. And I think, you know, partnering up with someone, it's easier to lean on somebody else when you're weak, and they lean on you when they're weak, and
Very true.
and
Very true.
prayerfully, it's not at the same time. You know what I mean?
I'm bad.
weak.
You bad?
I'm weak, man. You weak? Oh, God, we need to just throw in the towel. You know, this is not meant to be. But
No, it really seems like that. Just from hearing you two talk, it really seems like there's a deep-rooted connection behind the brand.
Yeah.
And I can
Yeah.
see it when you guys are talking. I can see it coming out, you know, when you're talking to as well. I think that's big. Was it hard for you two not to necessarily be swayed on how your brand or what it represented based on how the culture is now? Like you talked about the Jordans, like you didn't want to necessarily only represent like that, or the rap hip hop culture. Like it can be easy to say, hey, this is the Drake edition shirt or something like that.
Well-
you went to the history of our culture.
the cool thing about what you're saying, though, is that it's going to include those things.
Right.
It's going to highlight people over time,
Yeah.
including sports people, including
Right.
music people, including inventors and artists. And, you know, like, and that's the cool thing about it is, because in my mind, it was, well, how are we going to sustain this over the years? You know,
I
and
see. Okay.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, what
I
is
got
the
you.
sustainability of it? And that was really my concern. But the greatness of Black people is it continues to go on.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to look for it, even if it's your auntie. I'm not gonna put your auntie on the shirt. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
nobody don't know her, but. It's the qualities that we will put on there you can find in your auntie as well. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
I think
Very
that
true.
those were some of the challenges that we faced and are still facing. You know,
Yeah.
because we ain't, you know, we're not really where we want to be, but we're a lot further than we used to be. And we thank God for the vision, you know, that He's given us, because
Yeah.
a lot of times you get sidetracked and you get discouraged. But when you keep the vision in front of you and you keep the promise in front of you, then it lifts you up and it picks you up
Very true.
whenever you do get discouraged, because that happens to everybody. And if you
Right.
say that it doesn't, then
You're lying.
you're a liar.
Yeah,
You
no,
are lying.
absolutely.
You're lying.
You're a liar.
Very true.
Absolutely. So let's go back to the Black Love piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when I checked the website too, that was the first thing I saw at the top,
Mm-hmm.
and then I could see like the couple in the background too as well.
Mm-hmm.
What made you come up with that? Because I was like, Black Love. I definitely need to ask them about that, because I think that's important, right?
Yes.
Especially for our culture.
Yes.
You don't really see that,
No.
not much.
Not much.
So what was the deep thinking behind that?
So when it came to Black Love, the biggest thing because everything has to have a feeling to it, you know? And I think when, you know, growing up, for myself, I watched a lot of Martin and Gina. Like, if I didn't have,
Oh man, yeah.
you know, cable,
I was just watching that today. I was actually at somebody's house helping them out with their insurance, and they were watching Martin on
Martin,
Netflix.
yeah.
I was like, man, I need to go back and watch it because it was so good.
Yes,
Like it was so
yes.
good, and those are like good times,
Right.
You know, like
Right.
within just our culture and
Yes.
how we felt about each other.
It was.
You know,
Very true. So that's what literally what he just said. Like seeing Gina and that camaraderie between Tommy and all of them and Pam and just like that feeling.
an even different world when you had
Right.
you had
Yeah.
Dwayne Wayne
Yeah.
and Whitley Gilbert.
Yeah.
Like that was cool. And
Yeah.
then you had Fresh Prince of Bel Air. And,
Right.
you just
Naomi
had those
Long,
different.
Eddie
But
Harris.
even to take it towards Obama and Michelle.
Yeah.
If you think even about LeBron and
Savannah.
Yeah, Savannah.
Yeah.
Like you
James.
never have heard anything crazy about them. Like
Right.
I think about like I've never heard anything crazy about LeBron and his wife.
Right.
And I love Kobe, you know what I'm saying? But there was times where, we overshadow that stuff now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love Kobe. But like if you look at, LeBron and his wife, or we have one with,
Michelle Obama.
yeah,
And
Barack
Barack Obama.
and then we
Right.
have one with Jay and Beyonce.
Right.
But love is not without fault.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
it's not just smooth sailing,
Yeah.
but it's the decision to stick together. It's the decision to love somebody regardless.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that is because you see something in them that you just love about them and that you want to bring out of them and that you want them to bring out of you. Y'all complement each other.
Very
You're
true.
married. You know what I'm saying? You made the decision to marry your wife. You could have made another decision.
Absolutely.
So like I think that black love is like one, it will heal our community.
Very true.
I think it will heal any community.
Yeah.
Love in general.
Right.
But specifically black love
Right.
because we've been
Separated.
yes, we've been separated. We've
Yeah.
been systemically separated, I guess, for like
So
like strategically separated.
Yes.
And I think that when the attention when the focus is actually on, hey, let's love each other, let's
Right.
make the decision to do that, then it's a beautiful thing.
Right.
And a lot of not only healing, but just a lot of, I can't think of the word, just it covers all, it fills in where the deficiencies are.
Yeah.
And I just think a lot, like in this time that we're growing up, you see everybody that, is independent. Like they're telling women, hey, you need to be single. You need to do this, that, and the fourth. Nobody's really promoting,
Exactly.
A man and a woman being together and united and creating a household that, that you're proud to have. That's what I want. I want somebody that loves me unconditionally, and I feel like that's what needs to be pushed forward into the kids. Not saying, I ain't saying anything, but like that's what needs to be pushed forward.
Instead of what's being
Love.
pushed now.
Right? I remember, when you're in middle school, you have a girlfriend. Hey, if you leave that girlfriend or give somebody else a juice box, it's a problem. You know what I mean? Like, we got to get back to those times
sure.
of love.
We fighting over the juice box.
Right. So yeah, that's the times I want to get back to, that Gina and Martin time.
Yeah. So Renardo, you said something earlier as far as like you say you're good with words and stuff like that. And as you two are talking, it's refreshing to hear that word love and support come out of your mouth as much as you were just saying it, right? Because you're right, in our culture, that's not really something that we talk about.
Even between like friends.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we've had issues
Right.
between the two of us, and I think that the the decision and so I'm older than he is. I'm 40, what, 4? How old are you?
I'm 40, what, 4?
Yeah, I'm 44. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, my birthday is coming up. So even in that age gap, like making a decision to understand the person,
Yeah.
you know, is love. It's
what I was gonna say.
you know, knowing that you have the same, you know, goal in mind, the same focus, the same drive. It's just a miscommunication. And that's one thing that I really realize about life in general and relationships is that it's all about communication, and you can agree to disagree,
Right.
but we need to know what we agreeing and disagreeing on. If we don't even know that, then there's not even an understanding. And I can love you even though you disagree with me, and vice versa.
Right.
But like that conscious decision to go past the disagreement to then, hey, I know that we have a common ground in mind. We have a place that we're looking to get to. Mm-hmm. Let's figure this out,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know, and let's figure it out, you know, because this is bigger than us.
Yeah.
You know, if it's in the marriage, it's bigger than us. If it's in a partnership, it's bigger than us. You know,
Yeah.
if it's internal, you know, and the relationship between you and your creator is bigger than you.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. No, definitely. And that's what I was saying too. Like when you say that word love, I can tell y'all have a deep love for your brand and what you're doing. And then you said support too, and you mentioned that earlier, how you guys support
Yes.
each other too as well. I think
Yes.
that's huge to have that, right?
Yeah.
And I can feel that, even though you're saying it, I can definitely feel that
Yeah.
too as well. So going back to the Black Love piece, it's funny that you guys mentioned like LeBron and his wife and Savannah too as well. That right there is what we need more of. We need more showcased of that. I saw one thing where they were saying that she will not take pictures with
no man.
another guy. She just won't. She just won't do it. And I didn't feel like, I'm like, in my mind, their status, they can take pictures with whoever they want to.
Right.
But she just understands his position in the culture, in the NBA,
Right.
and she doesn't want to start any like drama or any mess or anything like that too as well. And I just thought that was very unique, but it was very much so respected for me to see that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you'll see a spouse of somebody, they want some attention, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But she's really there to support
Right.
him, right?
Very true.
So what I'm getting to is like, how does the support in both of y'all lives, like how does that help with your brand and you guys being creative when times necessarily are not as smooth as you want them to be?
So I think for myself, like life is life, right? So
Yeah.
you first you got to understand that, especially when you become, you know, I'm really stepping into my adulthood, you know, but I think having somebody that understands you and understand your weaknesses, but also understand that, you know, nobody's perfect. So we're gonna say that. So nobody's perfect, but also understanding the person that you're in a friendship with, relationship with. I think that's just really important because it's gonna get to a time where, just like he said, I don't have the energy, you know, and I may be easily frustrated just due to the fact like it's not going my way, or my vision, you know, because like you put a lot of time into, you know, things that you care about.
Absolutely.
Right. And when you're at times where it's discouraging to you or you feel like it's not going as fast as you want, but you have somebody like, you know, Renardo that you can call upon and be like, hey, you know, how are you doing? Or, you know, just get that better energy to be like, oh yeah, I'm back on this, you know, let's get this going, you know? So I think that's what it is.
For him,
me.
even understanding like my situation of having 3 kids
Right.
and a wife and the demands of life, and I don't have the time that he may have to put into different things.
Very true.
You know, and So I think that the support, comes down to communication and even like putting yourself into that other person's shoes to figure out, okay, well, what would my life look like if I was in this situation?
Yeah.
Because that's really where you can sort of understand, where the person is coming from. But I mean, I think that we both do a good job of supporting each other, and it's mainly about our lives first,
Right.
Not the brand. It's because, and that's just in business in general. Like
in life.
if you're not happy personally, and if things are messed up in your personal life, like your business life is not going to go the way that it should go because you're thinking about stuff that's going on in your personal life, or you're sick, or you got people to take care of, or your kids, like you got stuff going on. So that stuff has to get worked out in order for everything else to flow the right way.
That's priority. Right.
Yeah. So was there ever a time, I want to go like into the mental aspect of it. Was there ever a time, honestly, where either one of you thought like, I don't know if this is gonna work? And then what did you do to
Yes. His name's Renard.
what'd you do or what helped you get back on track, right? Because I was testing you too. I was like, let me see what they're gonna say. But that's real.
Yeah.
So yeah.
For me, I loved art. So I'm gonna just start there. So for me, I've always loved art. I've always loved creating.
Okay.
So I think I'm at a time in my life where I want to do something that actually is a hobby for me, or like it makes me feel like I'm doing something of value, right?
Okay.
So I've always drawn and I've always created things, growing up. So that gives me, everybody has like Ronaldo loves to play basketball with his kids, with his son. So like I like to create, and so I think that like drives me. Okay. But of course we've been at the point, but I'm gonna let Ronaldo.
Well, for me, yes, we've been at that point.
Yes.
Like this, I don't know if this is gonna work. But then the other part of it is when you see somebody buy your shirt, and they hold it up and they wear it, or you see somebody taking a picture and wearing it in their daily life, not because you told them to, but because they like it, know. And so to me, like to create art and put it on a shirt and have people wear it around, like that is like so cool to me. Like it's so cool to see, to have other, and I think that whenever you get that that response from people, it gives you that much more energy to put more into what you're doing, because if this person can feel this way about it, then maybe somebody else can. I just need to get it out so that other people can see it.
For sure.
That's really what it comes down to. Because if 1 million people saw this, I'm sure 50,000 would like it. More. Maybe. Even if it's 10%, 10,000. Whatever it may. No, that's not. There's 100,000. 10%, 10,000. I know math. Get it twisted. But like, just getting it out to people, and that's really where we are now is
in our stage.
Is getting the word out, getting the vision out, getting the advertising out, getting people to wear influencers. I mean, we're looking to get people in it so that other people can get exposed to it to either say yes or no.
Yeah. Right. And I think the first thing we were doing, we were working kind of backwards, meaning like, first we were working with a lot of people, and just like how you see the art now, and you're like, Jay, this looks good. Like this is like probably the 5th time this was probably made.
Really?
Oh, yes. Okay. Like, so it was.
Yes.
Was it big tweaks or small tweaks that you did to it?
Both. Yeah.
Okay. It was both.
It was both.
All types of tweaks.
So yeah.
Tweaking the tweaks.
Tweaking the tweaks.
He tweaking. This dude.
I'm telling you. So like when because at first you have to have it perfected before you show it to your audience.
And it's like a barber. Like I remember cutting hair. You want it to be perfect but it'll never be perfect because
Right.
there'll always be something that
Right.
you can,
Perfect.
fade a little bit better or, put on here to make pop a little bit more,
Yeah.
So at some point you just gotta let it ride,
Yeah. Yeah. And I think too, honestly, like,
Because I'm that nitpicky person. Like I'm that person. It's like I'm that person.
so just from my opinion, right? Like even when I saw the brand online and the site and everything, and I saw it in person, I think it's dope automatically. But to me, y'all story behind it is so powerful and impactful. Like people need to know the story.
Yeah.
Right.
They really need to know the story.
Very
And
true.
I, to me, that's what captures people so much. They want to support that story.
Right.
And it's like automatically, I wouldn't say no matter what it looks like, I would have got it anyway.
Yeah.
But the story and what it looks like y'all have a winning combination.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And I think people really need to know and hear that story. That just makes it, because as y'all are talking, I'm just like, dang, like this is deeper than what I thought it was.
Right.
And it just makes me like it that much more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To know that how I'm supporting y'all and supporting the culture too as well.
Very true.
A lot of these brands, and I'm not really big on clothing brands like that. I'm not. But a lot of these brands we don't own, and then there's really no real story behind them.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that's huge. what y'all are
And sometimes
doing.
they're glorifying things that
Exactly.
are not positive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
No, it's the truth.
Well, I don't know.
True.
I don't know what
Speak
some of these new things are. Like with all the fire and the hell and the, the demons and stuff. Like I'm not putting it on. You know what I'm saying? So like, but like it's
Southern
selling,
father.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
why is this stuff selling? Like this is not like
Yeah.
good
Sure.
stuff.
Yeah.
For
sure.
Who put it on to make you feel comfortable wearing this?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, let that person put this on so that you can feel comfortable wearing this too.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I just, the news is full of negative stuff. The
Oh, yeah,
world is.
always.
I just want positive
Positive,
things,
right,
man.
and
Like
that's-
it's just so.
Very true.
Watch the news
Draining.
for like 2 weeks straight
Draining.
and see how much you hate your life.
I don't watch
Right.
the news.
I don't either.
Thank
I don't either.
Very true.
I watch
But if you
ESPN
did,
news.
Yes.
I'm telling you, you'll be drained.
But I don't know. I think that when I look at this, it makes me think of like my ancestors and what they stood for and the principles and things that goes into our fabric. And that's one of our tagline is rebuilding our fabric.
Yep.
And the goal is to rebuild our belief system, rebuild our paradigms, rebuild the things that make us who we are and our
true.
belief system overall, so that we can have a different level of confidence and know that we can bring more to the table
Right.
than dribbling the ball, running with the ball, or singing and dancing.
Right.
Which
We have more to offer.
I still don't know how to do the Dougie, but that's I
like, what?
don't, bro. Like it's a shame. I don't know,
He
but
said, I still don't know how to do
don't know how to
it.
do it. So let's make some shirts instead.
That's dope. Like even
Maybe we should make a shirt about Dougie.
as I'm thinking, like when you're saying like footprint and rebuild, like it just makes me also think about like footprints in the sand. And
Yeah.
as time goes on, we've lost those footprints. Like we don't
Very
know where
true.
they started.
Yeah.
Right.
And you guys are rebuilding or putting those footprints back to where we can trace it back
Yeah.
to
Yes,
our
sir.
culture.
Yeah.
Which is dope too as well. Okay, so for somebody that wanted to start like a clothing brand,
Don't
right?
call us.
What would
answer
you say
questions.
is like the biggest
I can answer questions.
misconception, or what would you say there was something that you feel like you should have or could have done differently, like when you started?
So the first thing, of course, you have to know a lot. So like even when it comes to printing, like your files, like your PGNs to your JPEGs, you got it's
Yeah.
a lot because especially when you're screen printing, you know, and then you also want to have your mock-ups made to send to your manufacturers to see if this exactly, can they print it, you know, because most people will say they can print it, but can they really? Right? Most people just...
And what is their quality control like?
Be saying that.
You know?
Yeah.
Like that's another one. And you have to go through a lot of trial and error.
Yes.
AKA money in order to figure out, like, you know, what actually works. And the thing about money is you can always get it back, you know. The lessons you learn in the process are more valuable in my mind than the money that you spend. But like it's you wanna have a budget, you wanna have you just wanna have a plan. Right. You know, like I think that at times, like we went into it not really having a plan. We had a vision but we didn't really have like the plan, and so we just kind of did stuff and saw what worked and what didn't work. We spent money on ads. We hired people to do stuff that, you know, we may not have
did it all.
Needed to hire
everything that comes to mind.
You know, we've paid people that messed up stuff, and you know,
done it all.
So but that's just life, and that's business. Like you learn, you know, just don't repeat the same issues. But when you have a good relationship with people and establish a good relationship, take care of that relationship.
Very true.
You know, water that, nurture it, you know, like let there be some reciprocity in that relationship, because the stuff that you had to go through to find that person or to find that company makes you cherish it so much more.
Yeah.
You know, for sure.
Yeah. No, I definitely have a big respect for y'all, because like even with these, like I had to get somebody just to make this for me. I went in the mall. I literally, and I didn't tell you this, Jay, I literally bought a heat press. I was like, let me go try to put a shirt together.
Oh, no.
I put the shirt together. It looked good. 30 minutes later, I'm like, what's that white stuff? Why is it different?
I'm telling you.
And then my wife was like, don't throw that in the washer.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't
all on your clothes.
I thought I could just put something together. Right? So I understand that piece as far as what y'all are saying. You know? Like, have a plan behind it and stuff like that, too.
Yeah. But I think the biggest thing is, if I was to drop a gem right now, right, I'm going to drop one.
Okay.
One gem. Okay. So you need to get a sample made. And if you're looking for a sample to be made, you can go to $40 T. That's a website.
$40T like .com?
.com.
Okay.
Okay. Reason being is because like when you're starting off, you don't know anything, right? So if you're really trying to start a brand, you have to have sample pieces. So like if you're saying you really want to start a brand, then make a mock-up, you know, and send it there, have your files uploaded to there, and they'll take care of everything for you. It's one gem, I believe.
No, that's good. So, that's good. So with I want to continue with that too as well. Like when you make the mock-up and you have this shirt, like are you ordering just two for y'all to both sample the quality? Are you ordering multiple and letting other people wear it and see how it feels and the design? Like what do you do? Because I
knew you were gonna look at me.
I just really thought
that's another gem.
I like having it for myself and wearing it for myself, because whenever we make stuff, I'm making it for me. You know what I mean? Like I'm making it so that I can wear it.
Yeah.
And so there's samples and stuff like that we get, and it's for us. But then we'll also have a couple for our brand ambassadors or for influencers. If we're gifting someone something in order for them to then put it on while they're doing their social media posts and things like that, then we make those for them as well.
Yeah.
but we, obviously we ask them what it is that they like based on the pieces that we have, and
Yeah, because that's a big thing. You want to know, because everybody doesn't know what's going on in fashion, right?
Yeah.
Like especially if you have a day-to-day life. It's not like you're staying on the internet, seeing what content creators are loving, So of course, like a thing that I did is I sent it all out, and I wanted to see what people was like, and they were like, "Oh yeah, this is fire," just like you said, they were like, "Oh yeah, this is that one," and then I sent it to Renardo because I'm like, "I told you."
because some of the stuff doesn't resonate with me, but I'm also 44. You know what I mean? So what somebody that's likes that's in their 20s, it might be different. So for me, it's let me get this side of the age group, and you take that side. Because I think that we can. There's enough room for everyone.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Very true.
I'm gonna need, and we're gonna end up. I'm gonna end up talking to them after this. But I'm gonna need. I will wear it every day. I need a Martin and Gina with my logo small or something on it, so I can wear both of them, y'all brand and mine at the same time. Like a Martin and Gina. That would be dope, because when y'all said that, y'all instantly got me. I watch Martin
all the time.
It's such a good show.
Yeah, it's a culture thing.
God, it's such a good show. When I was watching it today, I forgot I was there with the lady for business. And I'm just like watching her TV, and she's,
Do y'all have that shirt or shirt like that?
We do, but
do?
we're not gonna put it on the press yet.
coming soon.
Coming soon.
Dude, in the comments,
have two
make sure
versions
you tell
of it.
them to put that shirt out, because I need that. I could literally probably order 20 of those right now.
We have two.
Oh,
of them.
that's dope.
Yeah.
So what's something that you really want people to know about your brand, besides what you already said? Because I know you said a lot of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what's something that you really want them to know about the brand? Like, I know I'm putting you on the spot.
So first, I would say is that if you're part of any culture, I would really say it's pride in that.
Yeah.
And especially if you're a part of, I would say my culture, Black culture, it's a lot to be proud of to come from our culture. I just feel like just the day and age, it's like everybody is so quick to dismiss greatness or try to find a flaw or a chink in someone that's great, that looks the same as them, and I just never got that, like even how we were talking about LeBron James, like even though he's the greatest and he's proved it, but we still find a way to poke and to pry, or even, just anything in general. I just feel like if I was to give a message about our brand, is to spread joy, and be proud and understand that if we come together, if we really came together, there would be no culture as powerful, as witty, as creative, as smart as our culture.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we would rather nitpick at each other. We would rather say, "Hey, why are you doing this that way?" instead of learning. So I feel like I want to start here, giving information, and then of course we will branch off. But I feel like each piece I want to create to make people happy and bring joy, but do it by highlighting our culture. I will leave it at that.
And highlighting the positive things within our culture. I would say just like the what I want people to know is that it's about togetherness, and really just because when you think about competition and you think about, first, second play, all this stuff, it is a separator of people.
Yeah.
It's LeBron, it's not Jordan, like they both can be great.
Right.
And they both can be the great greatest of their era.
Right.
You know, like, why does it have to be one or the other? You know, and why do we have to argue about this?
Right.
Like, it's just celebrate it.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that is the problem. That is the problem. And then we make competition so important that we don't see that it is a seed of dissension within us. You know, and honestly, I got this from whenever I was doing, you know, the sales thing. Yeah, and I wanted to be the first person to hit this title.
Right.
When in fact that title never brought any sort of guarantees.
Yep.
And in me being the first, it made me withhold information that could have helped the next person because I didn't want them to beat me.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think that there's a lot of just like trickery within competition
Right.
that people don't see.
For sure.
And it's good because it pushes you, but like we all can be celebrated, you know. And no, everybody doesn't need to get a trophy. Like that's I'm not saying that
I'm not saying that.
because I think that makes people weak, you know, and think that mediocrity is still celebrated, which it shouldn't be. But I think that there is a space for togetherness and celebration of accomplishments, and like that's really what we're looking to do is
Right.
celebrate the accomplishments. And each
our
of them
culture.
are different. Each of them are special in their own way. They all bring some level of fulfillment and pride, you know, to us.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's really what we're looking to celebrate, you know, in our brand.
Very
you know.
true.